And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, February 14th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. And here are some of the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Alaska Supreme Court has ruled that tribes share jurisdiction with the state in most child custody issues. The recent ruling is the second victory for tribal sovereignty advocates in recent months, the Fairbanks Daily News Miner has reported. The case involved the village of Tanana, which sued the state for refusing to recognize tribal authority to issue adoptions. It was joined by 5 other villages and tribal organizations. The state took the position that it had, in almost all cases, exclusive jurisdiction over child custody proceedings involving Alaska Native children, according to an advisory opinion issued in the year 2004 by the Attorney General at the time, Greg Renkes. In 2007, a Supreme Court ruling rejected that argument. The latest decision upholds the lower court ruling. Heather Kendall Miller, an attorney with the Native American Rights Fund in Anchorage, said the decision follows one in October by the U.S. Supreme Court. It refused to review a court ruling that upheld the Kaltag Tribal Council's ability to control tribal adoptions. In that case, the state of Alaska had refused to issue a new birth certificate that included the names of the parents in a tribally approved adoption. It was a nice 1-2 punch for us, Kendall Miller said. The U.S. Supreme Court has declined to hear a Northern Arapaho man's claim that the state of Wyoming lacked authority to prosecute him for murder in his daughter's death. Andrew John Yellow Bear Jr. is serving a life sentence in state prison in the 2004 beating death of 22-month-old Marcella Hope Yellow Bear. Both the Wyoming Supreme Court and U.S. District Judge Clarence Brimmer of Cheyenne previously upheld Yellow Bear's murder conviction. They rejected Yellow Bear's argument that the area of Riverton, where the girl was killed, was legally still part of the Wind River Indian Reservation. The Riverton Ranger reports that the U.S. Supreme Court gave no reason for not considering Yellow Bear's case. A memorial service was held March 10th in Whippoorwill for a longtime Navajo Nation lawmaker who passed away after suffering a heart attack. The tribe's legislative branch says Tim Lapahi passed away at age 59. Lapahi served 24 years on the tribal council representing the Ta-Chi, Blue Gap, and Whippoorwill communities. Tribal officials say Lapahi worked tirelessly to bring projects including a shopping center, a school, and health clinic to the area. Tribal Council Speaker Johnny Nazi said Lapahi's dedication to improve the lives of Navajo families was admirable. Lapahi spoke only in Navajo on the council floor, and former colleagues say his words were straight to the point and very effective. Lapahi is survived by his wife, 3 children, and 6 grandchildren. The president of the Navajo Nation signed an agreement with an Arizona utility to extend the lease for a coal-fired power plant on tribal land in northwestern New Mexico, the tribe announced last week. President Ben Shelley's approval of the agreement with Arizona Public Service Company came 3 weeks after the tribal council voted in favor of extending the lease for the Four Corners power plant into the year 2041. The current lease expires in 2016, but the utility will begin making annual payments to the tribe of more than $7 million starting this summer. The payments will be adjusted to reflect inflation. In signing the lease, Shelley pointed to the plant's economic impact on the tribe. In addition to the annual lease payments, Shelley said the plant generates about $65 million in taxes for the tribe and $100 million in payroll. More than 700 Navajos work at the plant in the adjacent coal mine that feeds it. A Colorado antiquities dealer indicted as part of a sweeping federal investigation into the looting of southwestern American Indian artifacts last week pled guilty to reduced charges in Salt Lake City's federal court. Carl L. Cortez pleaded guilty to 3 felony counts of trafficking, theft, and depredation of government property before U.S. District Judge D. Benson. In exchange for his plea, federal prosecutors dropped 2 other charges. In court last week, Cortez acknowledged that he had purchased a pair of basket-making sandals valued at more than $1,000 from an undercover government operative and that he knew the slippers had been illegally taken from Utah public lands. Cortez of Durango, Colorado, also acknowledged helping the informant dig up human remains, pottery shards, and a knife on U.S. Bureau of Land Management land in southern Utah. The charges carry a combined maximum punishment of 22 years in federal prison. And Indian Country TV went to Madison, Wisconsin this past weekend, where over 100,000, maybe even 150,000 people gathered to protest the actions of the governor there, Scott Walker, who has stripped public employees of their union arbitration rights, cut Medicare, Badgecare, school funding, college financial assistance, attempting to repeal the mascot challenge process bill and other programs without the usual debate, amendment, and public hearings, all with financial support from Citizens for Prosperity and the Tea Party Express and several large corporations. We had over 61 countries watch the news from Indian Country TV live stream this weekend, with people from all over the United States, Canada, Italy, France, and other places, including 4 viewers from Egypt. And people said they found our post from a link at the Huffington Post. Here's a review from the 6-hour protest, and there are now 5 files at the IndianCountryTV.com live stream library, where you can view, embed, or link the protest programs to your own social media or website.
My name is Archie Goni. I'm a Menominee Potawatomi. I'm here to represent our Indian people, and we need to show that this cannot go on anymore. Our Indian people need to stand together along with the unions and school teachers, because this is going to affect our children and our tribes in the long run. And we're going to let this government know you cannot do this. You cannot run over our government, and because we won't stand for it. The people of Wisconsin, Indian people, we're standing together. And this is what, when you're here, you're standing and see what unity really looks like. That's what it's all about. It's what democracy is about. And I'm proud to be an American Indian.
Very good.
Today, 24,000 of you have signed up on petitions all around the square at the tents, saying that you will remain active in this movement. I want to hear a mighty roar from everyone that is going to stay in the streets, that is going to petition for recall, that is going to see this thing through. Are we going to see it through? Are we going to see it through? Are we going to see it through? That's right, Wisconsin! 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 We need the star of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Susan Sarandon.
Gave no rights to workers, no right to work less than 12 hours a day, no right to a living wage, no right to safe working conditions. Workers had to organize, go on strike, defy the law, defy the courts, to create a movement which won the 8-hour workday and caused such a commotion that Congress was forced to pass a minimum wage law, Social Security, unemployment insurance, and the right to assemble and collective bargaining.
Where you from, buddy?
Hey, Capay.
You know, there's a school district that wants to, they're going to fire all their teachers and then hire them back at $72,000.
Turn the sign a little bit? Yeah, thank you.
Tripod. Oh my gosh.
They're already up there. Is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you all for joining with us and come back again soon. Miigwech.